Deep within the jagged fissures of the Grand Canyon, rumors persist of a massive, inaccessible cave system holding artifacts that shouldn't exist in North America. On April 5, 1909, the Arizona Gazette ran a front-page story detailing a spectacular discovery. The headlines claimed explorers had uncovered a vast underground citadel, pointing to ancient people migrating from the Orient. According to the report, an explorer named G.E. Kincaid navigated the treacherous Colorado River and located a highly engineered cavern complex, supposedly capable of housing up to 50,000 people. Inside, Kincaid allegedly documented copper tools forged harder than steel, tiers of male mummies wrapped in bark fabric, and a central shrine featuring a Buddha-like idol sitting cross-legged with lotus flowers. At the turn of the 20th century, the American West still felt largely uncharted. The public's genuine awe of this unconquered frontier allowed a single, highly sensationalized newspaper report to take root as a century-long conspiracy. The Gazette gave highly specific coordinates, exactly 42 miles up to Colorado River from El Tovar Crystal Canyon. Look closely at topographical maps of that area, and you'll find towering formations carrying ancient names: Isis Temple, Tower of Ra, and Tower of Set. While these names seem like evidence of a lost history, they were actually assigned by 19th century explorers who simply applied their favorite ancient mythologies to the landmarks they surveyed. Reaching these elevations requires scaling sheer, vertical drops without trails. Unforgiving cliff faces leave most natural alcoves and cave mouths entirely inaccessible by foot. The ironies of these arbitrary, mythology-inspired map names colliding with the brutal, isolated terrain creates a false sense of geographic proof that keeps the legend alive today. While the Egyptian citadel is a phantom, the Grand Canyon does contain highly restricted zones hidden deep within its natural crevices. These actual forbidden areas exist strictly for ecological protection. Thousands of fragile cave ecosystems harbor sensitive bat colonies and rare geological formations that would be immediately degraded by human contamination. There is a second heavily restricted area on the south rim, known as the Orphan Mine. The federal government cordoned off the specific site to manage hazardous uranium cleanup left over from Cold War-era mining operations. Authorized teams enter in protective gear to handle toxic contamination, not to catalog ancient gold. By stripping these localized environmental and safety closures of their context, internet rumors stitch together a sprawling, unified, forbidden region actively guarded by the government. The 1909 myth relies on the idea that the Smithsonian institution deliberately seized and suppressed Kincaid's artifacts to protect the accepted academic timeline of human evolution. The Smithsonian's official stance on this matter is absolute. Their Department of Anthropology has searched its archives and found zero records of G.E. Kincaid, his artifacts, or any such expedition in Arizona. The Arizona Gazette article, however, explicitly named a Professor S.A. Jordan as the Smithsonian scientist directing the massive excavation effort. This is where the hoax anchors itself to reality. During that exact era, a prominent academic named Professor David Starr Jordan was affiliated with the Smithsonian and had extensively explored the American West. Enduring urban legends rarely pull their details entirely from thin air. By attaching the fiction to verifiable institutions and tangential historical figures, the story gains a dangerous veneer of academic authority. The obsession with a fabricated Egyptian history obscures the genuine, ancient heritage that actually belongs to the American Southwest, specifically the deep-rooted folklore of the Hopi people. Hopi tradition speaks of the Sipapu, a sacred physical doorway hidden somewhere within the canyon, where their ancestors first emerged from the underworld into the present realm. This emergence point is closely guarded by Masao, the revered Hopi god and keeper of death, who is believed to patrol the canyon's depths. This is a living tradition for the Hopi tribes, who maintain a continuous presence in the region and still revere these canyon boundaries today. The canyon truly is a protected, sacred space, but it is guarded by indigenous tradition, tribal law, and deep cultural respect, rather than federal agents hiding an alternate history. To understand the Arizona Gazette article, we must look at the era of yellow journalism, a period when newspapers utilized massive mechanical printing presses to churn out highly sensationalized, often fabricated stories to drive up circulation. The hoax survives because it preys on our perception of the Smithsonian as the nation's attic, an institution vast and complex enough to hide a world-altering secret from the general public. Yet after more than 100 years of modern exploration, advanced satellite mapping, and geological surveying, there remains zero archaeological evidence of an Egyptian citadel hidden in the American Southwest. The raw visual power of the Grand Canyon creates a landscape where shifting shadows invite us to fill the silence with our own legends. The canyon's true history is defined by ecological fragility, millions of years of geological layering, and the continuous heritage of the indigenous people who have always called it home.